So, I'm Asher Glick.
And I'm the fabulous Beth Pounds.
And we're working on a project called Briefcase. For those of you who don't know, sorry, just to do a brief overview about what Briefcase is. Briefcase is more or less a replacement for Google Docs. It's an online document editor that's open source, and one of our goals was that we could make an easy API so that anybody could go in and mod stuff, create new applications, edit applications that have already been done. Zach doesn't actually know this, but we mentioned him yesterday at Albany. We actually demonstrated the function. He came up here and live coded the other day, or the other
Yeah,
week,
you were part of our
month.
demonstration.
Yeah. Zach was able to just come up and...
You keep talking.
Alright, Zach was able to just come up, we didn't tell him how to do anything, and then he instantly was able to program stuff. Colin over there, we're now working together to try and give features of Briefcase that let him able to live edit code with each other to Koala and bring part of Koala over into Briefcase so that we can actually work together to create multiple applications that don't require Briefcase but can use it in order to become better. So yeah, there's like a word for that that business people overuse. But anyways, synergy, cohesion, was it low coupling and high cohesion? The words you learned from SD&D. All right. Okay. Do you want to talk about this?
Sure. Okay. So I guess what we've been doing a lot recently, we actually haven't worked on it too much since it's still flickering. I'm sorry, it's just gonna flicker. We haven't really worked on it too much since spring break because we've been doing, like, we had the presentation today, we had the presentation at UAlbany yesterday, we have a presentation at the Undergrad Research Symposium next week. So we've just kind of been like, we don't want to break it, so we're just gonna get all these presentations ready and work on that. But before spring break, we both rewrote a lot of our code, just cleaning stuff up. Now that we have a better handle on how we want to like go forward with the project, you know, kind of setting things up so that they're a better base for the future. So I did a lot of that with the back end and also played with like the models a lot, so we had to like reset the database and stuff like that. And I don't know if you want to talk about the spreadsheet.
Yeah, the spreadsheet was originally written. I know some people actually looked into the back end of the code. One person came up to me and they said, so I'm going to rewrite your parsing algorithm. And I'm like, oh awesome, you're going to rewrite it. And then they never did. So that's still up for anybody to do. But a lot of it was just, there was an entire page that was all layout, like how everything is displayed, that I looked through it and I realized I didn't even know what I had written. So I've been going through that, basically deleting functions and rewriting them as I realize that things break. And the resulting code is much nicer, and I believe that people can use it much better. So one of the other things that we've been working on before the break is a menu system. And there are a lot of other menu systems out there, but we wanted one that was just really simple to use. So in order to use this, you just include a JavaScript file, and then you can create just a tag that says menu, wherever you want this menu to appear. And you can create the menu in XML, YAML, or JSON. And another group at RCOS is using it. The Pierce Logic team is will be using it for their menu system when they start making. Well, you already have an application. When they start adding cool features to their application.
It won't be gray for much longer.
Yeah,
Asher has an addiction to gray.
I like to pretend I'm colorblind because I can't pick colors, so everything I make is gray. But that's why Beth is working with me.
Right now, our entire application is gray.
I made something yellow.
It's got different shades of gray, but it's gray.
Yellow isn't particularly the best color either.
No, but it was for highlighting, so it's okay. So like I said earlier, I changed the file system backend, and I guess the other thing that other than rewriting a bunch of code, I started implementing the allowed users feature, so like more document sharing. So now, like the picture shows, and we'll show a demo later, but you know, this is logged in as Asher, but he can see that, you know, one of the files, What's Up Everyone, is my file that I created, but I've shared it with him. So currently, right now, I don't have any way on the UI to make allowed users. You have to do it in the admin system, but I haven't got very far with it, so that's coming soon. And hopefully I'll be able to implement edit as well as view only and some other stuff like that. Maybe some groups or something too.
So one of the things we found to be very useful is how we used to do things is I used to code up some stuff on my laptop, Beth would code up some stuff on her laptop, and then we'd both try and put it onto the server and commit from there. That caused huge problems with breaks in the repo. We talked about earlier how sometimes we had to use like sudo commit, and then that caused root to get added to our commit history. That was really bad. So what we ended up doing is we ended up just writing a PHP script that whenever you go to a specific URL that I'm not going to tell you what it is, it will pull the repo down from GitHub and update their server. So we can just code on our own laptops, and whatever we push up gets automatically put on the development server right away. And GitHub has these nice features called hooks, which hook into whenever you push up to GitHub. We'll send a post request to the URL, and then it'll automatically pull it down to the server. So every time we push up to GitHub, it'll automatically get loaded onto our server on campus.
Super helpful. Great. I guess I already talked about the future features for allowed users. We also don't, like, we have, like, two people can edit the same document and they can both save the same document, but right now there's no, like, automatic saving loading, so you can't live edit. But I think Ash just come up with, like, 3 different algorithms for that, so we're going to take 3 on the 3rd algorithm and see if it works. And you want to talk about the last 2?
The multiple cell selection.
I talked about the last one. Talk about the 3rd one.
Right. Okay, so the automatic saving and loading is something that is just a simple background feature. Instead of having to click save and then type in the same file name, you just click save, it automatically saves. You type something in, it automatically saves. And automatic loading already works. You just click on the file you want to go to. You can even, it's just a static link. You can just put that into the toolbar or the URL bar, and it'll bring you to the document that you're looking for and pull it up for you without you having to actually go and load it. Multiple cell selection is something that we also want to do, just so people can select arrays and matrices. I know there's already been one person who said, Asher, you have to put this in. Right after you put it in, I'm going to write you this huge suite of libraries, like functions on how to do everything. I'm like, okay, I really have to get this done, so you can do all the hard work for me. Thanks, Josh.
Also, along with the multi-cell selection, we want to have, we want to start writing in functions that use multiple cells as well. So let's go on with that. All right. So thanks, and I was in kind of a silly mood when we made this presentation, so have a cat. Any questions? Do you have a question slide?
I don't think we have a question slide. Yes.
Have you thought about using any of the Apache Wave code to do multiple user editing?
We haven't actually, but we've looked into a bunch of other things, like mathematical algorithms, but now that you mention it, I should probably check that out.
Yeah, it's an interesting library.
The Apache Wave library?
I think it's the Apache Wave Foundation at the moment, or something like that, but
we'll check it out.
It used to be Google Wave, right?
Yeah.
We've had several different versions of an algorithm. The first one was like the really bad, just propagate everything, and of course that doesn't work because then you have asynchronous communications. Different people have different data sets that they're trying to append other elements to, and you don't get the same data sets in the end. Our second algorithm worked perfectly in an ideal scenario where the user didn't actually input anything and that blocks of data just got added. But when you make those blocks too small, it stops working again. So our third algorithm assumes that every action is atomic and you can't get any smaller. And it back propagates whenever you get sent an action from the server, all of the actions that you haven't sent to the server, and that's kind of confusing. If you want to learn more about it, you can talk to me later. I can explain it to you.
I guess one of the things that makes our algorithm, or we want to have a strong algorithm, is because in the future we don't want to just have sharing with just spreadsheets. We don't want to have to write a different algorithm when we go sharing for presentations or sharing for the code editor. You know, we want to write this one solid algorithm that'll handle all of our applications as well as any applications you guys write too. So I think that's a big goal.
This might come down to like a personal preference thing, but from like a logistics standpoint, like I worked at a company this summer and like they deployed all their software with Git, and like I don't know, like I have a really itchy trigger finger when it comes to like committing things, and so I will like commit things that break and then revert and all that stuff. But so I use deploy scripts. Like I just use like a makefile that like rsyncs. And then Christian, we've been using it for like our project this semester. And so it just rsyncs everything to your server and like restarts Apache, and then like no Git on your server, and like it works pretty well. But like I don't know, you don't have to deal with hooks. Like
That makes sense. It only pulls down whenever we push to a master.
yeah.
Yeah.
It works for us for now, but that is something to consider when we actually
Yeah,
have.
like I think this is more for development purposes than anything.
Because honestly, the server right now is something sitting on top of my refrigerator in the corner of my room, right? That's all it is.
And Django's running on port 8000 or something
Yeah.
like that.
We actually ran into a problem with that yesterday. We couldn't connect to our on-campus server because the firewall blocks everything that's not on port 80.
Yep.
So we couldn't actually give a demo. It was embarrassing, to say the
It
least.
wasn't that embarrassing.
We did okay.
Anyway.
We did great. Okay.
Jerry.
Is there any? You guys have been working on the spreadsheet for a while. Is there any?
Oh, we
like,
started the code editing.
Yeah.
So code editing. Is there any like PowerPoint presentation or?
There, not yet.
Those are
The only parts of the PowerPoint presentation that exist are it's going to have the same back end of the spreadsheet. It's going to pretend to be a spreadsheet, except that instead of having cells, you're going to have different elements that do different things, if that makes sense.
So I found it. It's called Etherpad Lite.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you.
Yeah, we've looked at that a lot. There are like just a few super critical bugs in that. But we looked at its algorithm to get a lot of ideas for our own.
There was a really good paper in the repository.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we're looking to is a lot of our inspiration for how to do the communication between the front end and the back end. Any other?
Here's some demo.
Yeah, we can do a demo. Are there any other questions while we set up the demo? Just go to the webpage, please. That's briefcase.com.
That's well, it came up in your thing.
It's Jerry's laptop.
Oh, well, good point.
I get it's like one of my most visited sites.
I wasn't thinking about it being Jerry's laptop. Okay.
Yeah, so whenever you go to the briefcase.doc site, you're prompted with this login screen.
Yeah.
You can log in.
We don't want Jerry hacking our site.
Yeah.
So this is the yellow. You incorporate it.
You can see these are all the files that you can access. All the ones that are dashed with my name, Aglick, are the ones that I've created and that I own. But on the top, you can see that there's actually one file that Beth made that I can actually open myself.
Wait too.
On the top.
You can also make a new spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Why port 8000?
It's Django's.
It's Django's default,
Ask Alex.
and everything else works the same as last
What
time.
did you do? Why 8,000?
I don't know why. It's over whatever the limit on Linux is, so you don't need root to bind to it.
That makes sense.
That was your demo from yesterday.
Awesome. That function's staying in there forever and ever and ever and ever. And then there's Jerry's function. Which
Yeah, once we get multi-cell editing working and we can do multi-cell functions, Jerry's going to have a My Little Pony ask.
Perfect.
Well, I feel better.
You requested it.
I don't think I requested under my name though.
Yeah. All right.
Because I failed out that code.
This doesn't really do super anything new on the spreadsheet side. So.
Yeah. Any questions?
More questions.